What is up, everybody? This is the Plug Podcast, Music of More with Bushy and Metal Mike. That's Metal Mike. I'm Bushy. How's everybody doing? Metal Mike, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Had a busy, productive day at work and get trying to get back in the groove after the whole thing with RockNPod, man. My first day back was yesterday, and consequently, I'm kind of behind the eight ball and trying to catch up with everything because I wasn't there Monday and Tuesday. But or Friday, Thursday, Friday for that matter. So it was like, but but anyway, man, last Thursday, Friday, I mean. So yeah, man, I'm doing good, dude. Thanks for asking.
Sweet, sweet. Yeah, Mindy and I are both, we're still working on recovering, feeling very blah. We are not late night people, and there was a lot of late nights.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're still working on recovering, but we had a great time. Um, Exciting news on the Rock and Pod front. One of the bands we saw Thursday night at Rockin' Fest, Lost Circus, has agreed to sit down for an interview with us. And we're doing that Easter Sunday at 6 p.m. Central. It's not live. We're not going to be doing it live, but it will be up later that evening. I will get the video version up. And if for all you guys that like to listen to our lovely voices on the way to work and such and on your commutes, we will get the audio up on Podbean shortly thereafter. Um, yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. That was cool. I listened to their album. I really dug it. Reached out to them and they were like all too willing. Speaking with Tracy McAndrew about it, they were the most requested interview at Rock and Pod this year
Right on, man.
out of
Right
all
on.
those
That's
bands.
cool. Yeah.
So
Yeah, they're a good band, man. I enjoyed them. I thought they were cool, man.
yeah, I had a real good time with
I
them. And,
even like the other band that we saw that played there. Well, there was one I think that was a Mr. Big tribute band, and then the second band was Jane and the Killer Queens, which I thought they were cool.
yep,
They
they
were
were
out
real
of
cool.
Lost Circus, man. And yeah, I dug them. I thought they were cool, man, and they seem like they're getting a pretty good buzz about them. I mean, I noticed even our good friend Dr. Fuck commented, and he likes them too. I know Eddie Trunks endorsed him and a big fan of theirs. So you
Yeah.
know, hey man, good for them, you know.
And
Yeah.
we'll be talking to them about that record, and we'll be talking to them about their single they just released, a video, and we'll discuss the whole cool thing that happened that night when we speak with the band, because that's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Because I've never seen that happen on any stage, big or small. But yeah, they just released a new single. It's a cover of Alanis Morissette's "Uninvited," and it's fucking great. We'll talk about that. So that's all coming up Sunday night. Sunday night, I will have that video up. Like I said, probably Monday sometime during the day. I'll have the audio up on Podbean. But right now, we're here to talk about the interviews. This is the start of the interviews. I believe we'll only have two episodes. I believe one of them, that one's only 17 minutes. We might be able to do it because we've got seven. Let me see. One, two, three, four, five, six. We had seven interviews we conducted that day. We Metal Mike sat down on Friday at 12:30 with the creator of Metal Blade Records, Brian Slagle. Bushy, me. I interviewed Joey Bro later on one of the stages. That was different. I've never been asked to interview on stage. That was fun. Live.
Yeah, I thought you did a great job with that, dude. I was so proud of you, man.
Thanks, thanks. I appreciate.
Yeah, yeah. Even Bill, he watched it and he was like, "Man, dude, that's awesome that they got Bushy to do that." I'm like, "Yeah." I mean, I guess we're like we're kind of we're arriving finally,
Yeah,
because I've
yeah.
always felt like a little bit like, and I don't mean this in a bad way at all. I love those guys, but and I still feel that way, like, rock and metal and Decibel Geek, and those guys are here, and we're kind of here, you know. But the fact that they asked you to do that and just rubbing shoulders with those guys and just meeting all these cool people. It's really cool, man. It's kind of made me realize, you know what? I think especially if we get more consistent, we could definitely get a lot more listeners. So
Oh, absolutely.
yes, sir.
But yeah,
So
had a good time there. Now, Billy Sheehan was supposed to be a little earlier in the day. He had to be pushed back, but we got him in. Right after you interviewed Chancey Crabb, which is the female vocalist. There's two vocalists, right?
Shaney Crab, actually.
Annie,
Uh,
okay.
Yeah, Shani Crab from Entheos.
And
It's really a husband and wife band.
okay, cool.
And you know, when they play live, they have hired guns, but the husband's an incredible drummer and he plays guitar as well. And he drums for like he's a session drummer for bands like Machine Head and Job for a Cowboy. Dude, the guy literally works with everybody. Also, he was in Animals as Leaders, which is this amazing instrumental metal band. Really, really cool stuff. So yeah.
Nice. And you conducted that interview. I spoke to Billy Sheehan afterwards. And I want you guys to hear that because I really didn't talk about any of his bands at all. I kind of talked about his playing, his style, and things of that nature. And then you spoke to Bob Chiappardi from Concrete. Is that a record label? A&R?
Yeah, there was Concrete Management, but then they split up and became Concrete Marketing. And Bob's worked with anybody and everybody that was in the business because at one point he was with Concrete Management, who actually managed bands like White Zombie and Pantera. He worked with Ozzy. Bob was very, very involved with the Nativity and Black Sabbath tribute album from the early 90s. Uh, which is amazing. I mean, you got all these great bands covering the almighty Black Sabbath. I mean, bands like Sepultura and Biohazard doing After Forever, Sepultura doing Symptom of the Universe. You had Typo Negative with their version of Black Sabbath.
Which is one of
It's
the best covers ever. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
dude,
I
it's an
love that.
incredible, incredible compilation and just a collection of talent, man. And I love it. And you know, I asked him questions about that as well. So Bob, really super cool dude, real chill. You know, so I'm really looking forward to the listeners hearing that interview because he told me quite a bit about himself, man. Really nice guy, really cool dude.
Nice, nice. And then we had a break, and then I got Erie Vaughn. You're admittedly not a Danzig fan. That's okay. We won't hold it against you. But
I don't give a fuck if people do or not. That's their problem, not mine. But go ahead.
he was a lot of fun. You know, he was
Super nice guy though, and I want to reiterate something. Yeah, I may not be a fan of that particular artist, but I would never say that his bandmates aren't talented.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like those guys are talented. You know, it's just not my thing. You know what I'm
Which is
saying?
fine. And this interview is a lot of fun because he spoke a lot on the business side. Uh,
Yeah.
so that was a lot of fun.
Well, I think that was the approach you took with a lot of your interviews. You asked him about like technical stuff and musicianship and because I had my nephew, I think it was, or somebody teased me. Were you like Chris Farley? You remember? You remember when? No, I was like, no, I didn't do any of that, man. I kind of wanted to with Slagle only because like Brian did what I always had wanted to do to a certain extent, you know. And he didn't have this like grand plan, you know, it just kind of happened that way. One thing led to another. Next thing he knows, he's the owner and operator of a record label, you know. But again, I've said it before, I'll say it again. To me, Brian Slagle's as important to the metal movement as any of the artists that were on his label or bands that didn't end up being on his label that he was interested in. Just for whatever reason, it didn't happen. But Brian's a cool dude, real nice guy, real chill. I'm gonna try. I just started following him on Instagram. I'm gonna reach out to him, man, because I should have hit him up like, hey, is there any way I could reach you? Because I would love for us to do a longer interview. Because the thing with Rock and Pod, it's great that we get to meet these people and interview them, but you only get to do it for 15 minutes, and it's in a room full of people. So unfortunately, guys, as much as hard as we try, the audio quality to some of these interviews aren't really going to be the best, but I figure as long as you can hear me and Bushy and our guest talk, it's as you
Yeah.
know, it is what it is.
And
So
I'll,
you
I'll noise reduce them as much as I can, but
I know. Yeah, but there's only so much you can do, bro. I mean, there just is. It is what it is.
yeah,
And I'm not complaining because the one cool thing about Brian, though, is there wasn't that many people there. Of course, there was that idiot that started blasting fucking shitty ass fucking, I shouldn't say that. People like that band, but
yeah, I dig them.
what were they? The
Ramstein,
German metal band. Huh?
Ramstein.
Rammstein, yeah. I will say this though, they put on a crazy show. And I don't hate Rammstein, so let me throw that out there. But it was like I was kind of getting irritated. It was like, is DJ Middle Mike gonna have to throw a punch a motherfucker? But Tracy was like, hey, he's doing an interview and cut it off. So,
Yeah, because he was actually there. He's starting a podcast.
yeah.
So
And
he-
and that's what I'm saying. I'm really looking forward to hearing that, man.
and we closed out the day uh welcoming home almost plug family. It was our third time talking to Don Jameson. So that was
Dude, he literally knows this on a first name basis now.
yeah, it's
Like
pretty,
at the rock at the punchlines and backlines, even he was talking to us and introducing me to people. This is, DJ Metal Mike. This is, and Travis that was a lot of fun too. We ended up having to go to the second show because there was a somewhere something either I zigged and should have zagged or something happened where I wasn't on the list, even though I could have swore I bought tickets. And Courtney was pretty upset about it, and so was Tracy. But I went ahead and bought us 2 tickets for the late show, and they were like, "You don't have to pay." And I'm like, "Hey, man, I want to help out the cause."
right.
And they both just gave me a big hug, And Courtney made the joke like, "It's nice to have friends who actually have a job and have money," which was funny. But no, man, it was a lot of fun, man. I think the second show might have even been better than the first one. Hal Sparks was fucking hilarious, man.
Awesome.
So it was a really cool show.
Yeah, I had to miss that. We had already made plans to come back Sunday, and that's
And yeah, and then of course, Chris Kale, I caught up with him at the punchlines and backlines. And it was like I thought that was you, dude, because he's the dude who gave me the shout out for the Carcass shirt, man. I mean, we sat there and talked for half an hour about how fucking badass Carcass is, man.
nice.
And I suspected it was Chris Kale, but I wasn't 100% sure. And I was like, I'm not even going to ask him. I'll find out tomorrow night if it was. And it was. And he looked at me and goes, dude with the Carcass shirt. I'm like, what's up, Chris? And we started talking again. Real cool dude. Took a picture with me. Real nice guy, man. And he was funny, man. He told some pretty fucking funny stories, man. So
Nice. Cool. I hate that I missed that. Mindy has already said she's coming back. Look, we made a fan out of a country fan, a country ass girl, a country fan. We made a fan of rock and roll. She had an absolute blast. I want to say to everybody that was there, thank you so much, including you, Metal Mike. Thank you so much for welcoming her into the family and
of
showing
course.
her what this community is all about. Because to her, we're a bunch of weirdos. She hates when I wear my battle vest and my rings and my gauntlets. She hates that shit because she doesn't understand it. She really enjoyed herself.
She might be a bit more tolerant of it now, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
She enjoyed both the shows. Thursday night at Rockin' Fest, Friday night at the pre-party. She had an absolute blast. She was enjoying the hell out of herself. She had fun at the event, and that's where I was most nervous. I mean, she brought her Nintendo Switch with her because I told her, I said, look, when Metal Mike and I are doing RockNPod itself, it's all business. But then we got this idea to, dude, we could split it up. You know more about these people, and I might know a little more about these people, or so let's do that, and then we can meet at the end with Don.
And there was another reason for that, Bushy. It wasn't just that. Part of it to me is I felt like with past interviews with the two of us, you only get 15 minutes with them, and you got to make it count, man. And I just felt like, well, if you got two people asking questions, you got to coordinate it. It just complicates it. It's one thing if we have any of them come on, like Lost Circus. That's going to be different. We're going to have a full blown, ain't going to just be an interview. It's going to be a fucking conversation, which is really my favorite types of interviews, man. I love that stuff. You don't have time for that at RockNPod. You got to be in and out like a quickie with a woman.
Yeah,
Boom, boom, done,
or regular with you with a woman.
Yeah, all the time, dude. I mean, what do you think, Mr. Speed? That sounds about me. Ow. Anyway, so and I'm not kidding. But anyway,
Hey,
sad as that is.
we're old, dude. It's okay.
So yeah. Well, I'm so old now, Bushy, you can donate my parts to science fiction. But anyway, yeah, it's just I just thought it would simplify things and also allow us to have a little fun and enjoy ourselves, man. Because I remember that one year, really, I think the first year that I went down as a podcaster, and that was at that one hotel we were all cramped in
Crammed
that
into that
high, and
tiny
every one of us came home sick with the COVID and the flu and God knows what else, man.
key.
I mean, I had fun, don't get me wrong, it was a blast, but it was so loud in there, and it was like because you see all these people and you want to meet them, we signed up for a shitload of interviews and it was a little bit overwhelming. It was like before I could even go to take a leak, I had to do another interview. We had to do another interview. So, I was determined this time. That's why I didn't have us sign up. And you were on the same page as me. Let's not, quality over quantity. And
And enjoy
just
the event.
yeah, and like I said, I think it just worked out better that way. If they're only interviewing one of us, we can stay focused, we can get the job done in and out, and they can move on to the next interview, man.
Yeah.
And I think it worked out a lot better that way.
I don't disagree. I got to enjoy a lot more of the event itself, did a lot of walking around. Now, a lot of it was to kind of show Mindy what was going on. But the point is, throughout that day, even when I was in front of the mic, doing my interviews, this woman that couldn't have gave a damn about rock and roll, hard rock, heavy metal prior to coming there. I mean, she knew because I would. It's so sad I have to say this. Sorry, Billy. When I would tell her I was interviewing Billy Sheehan, and she would just look at me cross-eyed, like, I knew who was to be with you, because I don't like that ballad. But that's a song she knew, and she loves that song. She's like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, the bass player. And then I would show her like the intro to Addicted to That Rush. He's like, oh, he's like that. I said, yeah, I mean,
Billy's one of the greatest bass players to ever do it.
yeah,
Ever. I mean, if there's a Mount Rushmore with amazing bass players, Billy's on that mountain easily, hands down. I don't even think it's a fucking debate. Him, Les Claypool, whether you like Primus or not, the man is a phenomenal bass player. I would say Cliff Burton is another one. Um, Geddy Lee, again, I know you're not a Rush fan, but the guy's an incredible bass player.
you're giving
Those,
all our
those
content
four
away.
guys right there, man, boom.
You're giving all our content away for next week.
Oh, but I'm just saying, Billy was a really cool dude, man. But yeah, I let you handle that one, of course. And but no, I think it was cool because I mean, I don't know, maybe it's too early to give away, but fuck it, since I fucking have no stamina anyway. See what I did there?
I see.
Um, um, Mindy, you bought her a Lost Circus hoodie. I noticed that. I was like, oh,
Actually, I did not buy her a Lost Circus hoodie.
she bought it herself.
Indy went to the counter and she's like, you want that record? She bought me the album and she liked him so much, she bought the hoodie for herself.
See, that's fucking cool though. But she liked them.
Yeah.
She liked them, man. And I'm like, and that's how it starts, man.
When we left Nashville Sunday afternoon, after you and I said our goodbyes, we got everything cleaned up, packed up, loaded up. She played on Spotify. She played Lost Circus for the first hour and a half leaving.
Cool.
Oh, she's really dug them. I have heard that Alanis Morissette cover more times than I can count because she loved that so much. So yeah, I mean, she was hooked. But no, going back,
See that the
really,
hard rock and metal bug is bitter, dude.
yep,
You watch, she'll start getting into other bands. That's how it starts. It's that one band, and the next thing you know, and like I said, what's really cool, and I hope Mindy realizes this. You don't have to give up your love for country to like metal and rock, man. I mean, that's what's great about music. When I was younger, I was very rigid. If it wasn't hard rock or metal, other music was for pussies, man.
right,
I eventually grew up and realized as I got a little older, like I mean, I was that guy, Bushy. I was the guy that liked Michael Jackson but didn't want anybody to know. You,
right.
you know what I mean? And I don't know, it was probably my teenage years where I was like, why the fuck do I care what other people think? Like I can be as metal as I want and still like Michael Jackson. Like there's no like it doesn't, it's just silly that you think that way. But also I think, like I said before, Miss Miller, my music appreciation teacher, I'm still grateful to her because she's the one that really opened my horizons to all kinds of music,
Right.
from classical to country to bluegrass and rock and roll and the blues. And without her, man, and me realizing I could hear my metal in that music.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay. It just was like my eyes and ears were open after that,
Yeah.
man.
It's
So,
almost like an epiphany.
yes, it is.
What
Very
I
much.
was most proud of is that Mindy never took that fucking Nintendo Switch out of the box. My point I was trying to make was that when Billy was talking to me, she was sitting there and listening. She couldn't
She
hear.
was engaged,
Yeah,
dude.
she could hear what they were saying. When Erie was talking to me, she could hear it. When Jameson was talking to us, she could hear everything. She was interested in all of it. So it was a good time. And she's cracked jokes. She says, I've got to change my wardrobe next time because I am like too colorfully dressed. Everybody's wearing black. She's like, why didn't you tell me anything? I've got to buy some black lipstick and all that stuff.
That's great. That's great.
So she had a really good time, and that's
I'm glad. I'm glad, man.
you
I'm
know,
really glad. I had a feeling I was gonna like her. I mean, obviously she's your girl. But yeah, man, I loved her. She's great. I think everybody there loved her. And I can't wait for the next one, man.
it
Because
was.
it looks like there's definitely gonna be another one.
Here's hoping. What was nice for me is that she got that feeling like the first year I went in 17 or you in 18, but she wasn't even a fan. You know
Right.
what I mean? And there's things that like happen around here, like she hates the way I speak. I don't give a damn. I will say what's on my mind. If I don't,
No.
I'm gonna tell you. And these people around here, they are just not that. I am very blunt. I like foul, nasty, dirty jokes. And I will say the most inappropriate shit. I will say it in a nursing home. I don't care. Obviously, I'm not saying it around residents, but other staff, without getting sent to HR, of course. But she's always like mortified by things that I say.
I could hear that. I could see that. Yeah.
Her hanging out with Wadzilla. And Wadzilla, thank you so much, Wadzilla, because you have shown that it's not just me. Every one of us talks that way in this particular community. And she was sitting there laughing, having a great time. I am happiest that she had a blast. And
Yeah.
14-year-old Bushy got to geek the fuck out. And it's so weird because we meet these people every year that I'd never geek out. But when Tiffany finally arrived, yes, I think we're alone now. Tiffany, that one. Me and Mindy were headed off toward I'm sorry, Mindy and I were heading off to the latrines, restrooms. And she had showed up, and I looked at Mindy. I said, Mindy, oh my God, she's here. Oh my God. I was like super excited because
Of all people, man.
dude, I'm telling you, it's wild because I don't know anything past that first album. I owned that first album. I did buy it. But 14-year-old.
It's because grown Bushy met 14-year-old Bushy's crush. That's why you geeked out.
That might have been it, but it was really cool. And she was super
Yeah.
sweet. And
She was very sweet. She was very nice. I only talked to her for a minute.
I
And
was
I'll say
trying
one
not
thing
to
about
take
her.
it
She's
away.
very flirtatious.
Yeah. But I was trying not to take too much time because
Mhm.
she was there conducting business too. Her line, Radical Reds, which
Right.
is her clothing line, she was there as a vendor. She wasn't there as a guest.
Nope.
She wasn't podcasting. She was there as a vendor. So I didn't try to take too much time. Big fan, loved you when I was a kid. That's what we all listened to. Blah blah blah. Can I get a picture with you? Will you take a picture with my girl? And then Mindy's nephew Isaac, who we spent a lot of time talking about while we were there. We never take him anywhere, and he bitches about it all the time. But I'm like, dude, I need breaks, because I am the original fuck them kids. Anytime we're going to go somewhere, all these kids want to go, and I'm like, babe, fuck them kids. I need a break, and that's including mine. Fuck that kid too. I'm an equal opportunity fuck them kids guy. He's always like, oh yeah, you took her to Pigeon Forge, you took her to New York, now you're taking her to Nashville. So we bought one of the posters that you can purchase, podcasters.
Yep.
Podexpo.com, or just get a hold of Tracy McAndrew. She's still selling.
Me and I at the back line, Punchline's backlines, I bought me and Travis posters.
Nice.
I put it away. I haven't put it up yet, but I got one.
I gave mine to Isaac, and the little fucker better take care of it because it's got Tiffany's autograph on it. I don't have Tiffany's autograph. It's got Erie Vaughn's autograph on it. I don't have Erie Vaughn's autograph. It's got fucking Don Jameson's autograph on it. I don't have Don Jameson's
It's got
autograph.
DJ Metal Mike's
It's got
autograph
Metal
on it,
Mike's
dude.
autograph on it. Big Al, Alan Tate, Chris Sinzak, Aaron Camaro, Bush.
Mine.
I said Metal Mike.
That's the most important one.
That was the least impressive one. But now I'm playing, of course. I kid. But no, it was really cool. And he was really appreciative of it. And when I started telling him who some of these artists were, Anthony Corder signed it for me. And that's a funny story because Anthony Corder had to be, I don't know if they were a radio station or a podcast, but either way, he had to be over there. And he could not find their table. And I was just like, hey, man, where's your handler? You look lost. He's like, I kind of am. I'm trying to find such and such. I said, hey, I tell you what, if you'll sign this for my son, I'll go find the damn booth for you. So he signed it for us, you know. So it was a great time all around. I think, Tracy, you did a great job. I think it was highly successful. I hope that it was so that we do get to do it again next year.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because I mean, honestly, and one of the things that I enjoyed the most, and it sucks that you weren't there, man, was the after party, which is Aaron Camaro's, man. I mean, dude, it was so awesome to just hang out, and Travis had an absolute blast, man. You know, he was and that's another thing, just watching Travis's reaction to everything
Yeah.
was a huge treat for me, man. You know, I mean, we
Hey,
kind of took him under our wings, and I mean, you want to talk about a kid who's a fucking fan, man, not just of us and what we do in podcasting, but music. This kid is a music lover, man, and he knows his shit. Yeah, and not to give anything away, but after our interview with Don Jameson, uh,
that
Travis talked
that
to him.
wasn't recorded, so you could.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Travis, apparently, man, now Travis has always been a music lover. His dad raised him on a lot of the psychedelic rock and, classic rock.
yeah,
But he wasn't really into metal. He started getting what you would call metal curious from playing Guitar Hero, which a lot of kids his age. In fact, he's around the same age as Bildo, my co-host on the Metal Mike Show, my online radio show every Friday night from 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, only on craniumradio.com. Make sure you're there, but not this Friday, next Friday.
it is
Tomorrow.
advertising.
Fuck yeah, dude, I am fucking pimping myself out. It's called, I mean, after all, this podcast is called The Plug. I'm plugging myself.
True.
So anyway, Brandon, same thing though. Bill's cousin, man, he's right around the same age as and how did he get into metal? Guitar Hero. He heard Metallica, he heard Megadeth, he heard, and that's how he got into it. Also, Bill was there to kind of guide him and go, well, okay, that's cool, you're listening to this, but check this out. And he'd play a Megadeth and Pantera and Metallica and all that stuff. But for Travis, he started playing Guitar Hero, and then he somehow got turned on to that metal show. And when Don Jameson had recommended the first Iron Maiden album, Travis went out there and bought it, and he loved it. And then he went down the metal, the rabbit hole, so to speak. He went, he just, and never really came back. I mean, he Googled bands like Iron Maiden. Of course, all these new wave of British heavy metal bands popped up. And he's, to this day, I mean, he loves all kinds of subgenres of metal, but he really has a soft spot in his heart for the new wave of British heavy metal. And he said, it's all because of you, Don. If not for you recommending that. And you could tell, I think it really moved him. Like, Don almost looked like he was about to get a little teary-eyed there for a minute. Like,
Yeah,
because it does. I mean, he even said, that's why I do this, dude. Well, that's why we do what we do, man. If I can turn somebody on, maybe it ain't new, but it could be new to you. Or maybe it is new, but if I can turn somebody on to something that they haven't heard before, and vice versa. I've had listeners of the Metal Mike Show. I've had people who listen to this podcast that have turned me on to things I never heard before. That's why I fucking do this, man.
yeah. I can't remember who the hell it was, but I turned them on to Degeneration. They had never heard of them, and that was through. I mean, it was radio, but same thing. I mean, through radio and podcasting, even we
That's
have,
the band we covered, didn't we, on Uncovered Gems?
yeah, their debut album.
I like that record, man. Like I really liked him,
I
man.
don't
Never knew anything about him. And when I threw that record on, I fucking started rocking. I'm like, right on, dude. This is some good shit, you
Yeah.
know?
And I only found it because they opened for Kiss in '96 on the
There
reunion.
you go, man.
So, all in all, it's a great time. What we're going to do is we're going to get into these interviews. Now, look, here on YouTube on the Plug Podcast, you're not going to hear them. So, you're going to have to wait and download it tomorrow once I get it
The
all.
audio version, folks.
The audio version. Yeah, you're going to have that to hear the interviews because, look, Bushy can't edit video. All right. I'm lucky I can splice together a damn audio podcast.
I've been curious about it. I thought about because I even hit Dr. Fuck up and asked him, hey, what program do you use? Because not only am I curious about my big brother, who I think could do it, because he's just, well, you've heard his audio editing. He's a fucking genius. I'm sure Dave could do the video editing as well. So, yeah, man, that would be cool if we could do that. But unfortunately, right now, we cannot. So there you go.
We are tech illiterate when it comes to that. But if you're listening audio, what we have coming up is the great DJ Metal Mike over here interviewing Brian Slagle. We're going to follow that with Erie Vaughn, interview with Bushy. And what was it, Cheney Crab? Because it says Chansey here.
Yeah, it's Cheney Crab. They had a typo there.
This is my, I don't know if you guys see it, but that is my itinerary from the expo. So we hope you guys enjoy these three interviews. There's more to come next week. The Lost Circus, I'm going to put up immediately because that's going to be a Plug Podcast exclusive since we didn't interview them at the RockNPod. That'll be a longer episode, but I'll make sure I get that up shortly after. I don't want to double them up, but it will be pretty shortly after. The video will go up right away as soon as it's done doing its thing. So yeah, coming up, Brian Slagle, Erie Vaughn, Cheney Crab, Bushy, Metal Mike, RockNPod 2025 Expo interviews. Metal Mike, get us out of here.
Keep fighting the good fight and stay metal to your dying breath.
That's right, motherfuckers. Buy vinyl. We'll see you next time.